Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Monique Anstey from the Naughty Dog in Victoria, BC, author of As a Dog Thinketh. And tonight I have with me
Kelsey Canhoffen from Dog Studio in Victoria, BC.
and
Kayla Gallowitz.
these two ladies are both from the Calm Dog Studio in Victoria. I did say it correctly, didn't I?
Yep.
I asked them to come on because they are both dog groomers, but they're doing unique stuff other than just grooming. So I wanted to do a business dive into what got them both doing this. Now you're both under interrogation.
Yeah.
Drink up, ladies, drink up.
Drink up, yeah. We're excited to be here. A little got some sweaty palms, but mostly just excited to be here.
No one will know. They can't see you, so it's all right. All right. What got you both into this unique niche of your business within grooming? Now, we should probably say what your niche is. So you started off doing some pretty cool stuff within your grooming. So tell us about some of the out-of-the-box stuff that you were offering.
Probably what we're most well known for is something that's called our conditioning program. And there's two basic programs we have. One is a nail conditioning specific program, and the other is a bit of a broader grooming conditioning program. And what these are for is just to work with dogs who have either experienced some kind of trauma at a professional environment when they were trying to be handled or groomed, or maybe their parents accidentally clipped their nail and they perceived or experienced something heavily negative associated with grooming. And our program is helping them change the way they think about the things they perceive to be scary. And it's a lot about teaching bravery and confidence and resilience and pairing the things that come along with grooming, how dogs are handled, with training. And we couple the two. And that program runs about 4 weeks. And it's just trying to help dogs who are unable to receive vet care, grooming care, that kind of thing.
How well received is this program? How many people are requiring this from you?
A ton.
Good.
A ton.
Good.
It's a very underserved market. It's something I think both Kayla and I stumbled onto. It just happened very naturally, piece by piece. And then once we had all the pieces together and realized what we wanted to do, this little niche market just blew up. And there are way more dogs who need our help than there are us. So it was a happy accident, but it was just also really interesting to find this pocket of people who are just so desperate for help. So it's been really cool getting to work with people who are just so eager for support.
So in your business, what percentage do these two programs make up?
What do you think, Kayla? 30%?
Yeah.
Wow.
We both have quite a few decades of clients worth that we're just still grooming, and we're trying to create more room for this because it's the most valuable thing we offer. There are other groomers where people could go, but because we're the only ones who are able to offer this coupling of training and grooming and handling, we're always trying to be available to accept new clients. So I'd say it probably started with 10%, and now if we let it, it could probably be 60, 70%. But we still have to maintain the client load that we have while trying to consistently make room for new people who need our help. So I'd say right now it's probably sitting at about 30% of our capacity.
Now, of that stuff, is it easier on you guys to do that or harder on you?
I would say it depends on the dog in general. It just depends on the dog and what we need to work them through.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're each very different. Like grooming, we love our clients, but it can get a bit monotonous. So I think we both look forward to the time of day when we're switching it up. It's
hmm
made me love grooming more because I'm having more variety in my day. So I see my clients that I love, and I love my visits with them, and I can make them look all cute and feel good. And then 2 or 3 o'clock comes and we switch hats, and that's when we do all our behavioral stuff. And that's the more exciting part of the day. It requires a lot more brain power from both Kayla and I. And like she said, depending on the dog we're working with, if it's a simple case of nails, that's not so bad. But if we have multiple issues layered into the dog, like stranger danger, the dog was previously pinned at a vet clinic, it now has fear of being restrained, plus the nails. So it can range from something that's quite simple and we just go through the program as we have it and the dogs just succeed. And then sometimes we have dogs where we both of us sit there and we'll look at each other and be like, I don't know, we're gonna have to try something different or add this or try this. So I know for me that's a really fun part of the job where I'm really having to use my brain a lot more than I would when I'm just grooming the dogs I've been grooming for the last 10 years.
Yep.
So it's different and I like the variety, I think.
Now, I think because of who you both are and the reputation you've built, you're getting some extreme dogs.
Oh man.
And I'm saying that because I've worked with some of these extreme dogs coming from you. So
yeah.
in how many of them are extreme?
I would say that number is starting to grow.
Okay.
Even just today, we were just saying we have 3 dogs going through the program right now. And I say we usually have 3 to 4 dogs because it's a month-long program. Unless the dog needs a bit of extra time, that does happen. And so usually we're running 3 or 4 dogs through the program at once. And we have 3 out the gate right now that are incredibly challenging, that are probably going to need extensions of time. And I just looked at Kayla and I said, I don't remember the last time we had this many difficult dogs, and each of their needs are so different. And there's just so much to consider. Like we really, like our application process is quite thorough because I need to know what have your dog's experiences been? When did this start? I need a lot of details because it will change how we approach something. And then just knowing the dog in front of us. What are your reactions because you've lived a spoiled life, or are your reactions because you're severely under socialized and you're fearful? So
I'll take the spoiled life.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
But I do think as our reputation grows and the more people who graduate the program, the more you have the walking, talking testimonials out there. So harder and harder cases are coming through, which is, I think, it's exciting, but it also does put a little bit of level of pressure of, okay, now we really have to up our game here and get really creative.
So with some of the dogs I'm thinking of, it's realistic they may never get there. How many dogs aren't getting to that point? Because toenails aren't exactly something easy to do.
Yeah.
Grooming, yes, I'm going to say more. But toenails, that's the one thing some dogs are willing to die on that hill.
Yeah, I think you're right. The nail conditioning program we get way more of than the grooming conditioning as well. I think that's something that despite best efforts can go so wrong. Whether it's a vet tech, a groomer, a vet, anyone, like 1 millimeter of difference and that dog has felt pain with its nail being clipped, whereas that's harder to do when you're cutting hair.
Do I have to confess my sins here? That my eyes are shit and I butcher nails on a weekly basis?
As long as you keep all the dogs you butcher.
I keep them. Okay, yes. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying because of the bad experiences they've had, stuff like that with toenails, it's harder.
Yeah, I think it's just something that can go so wrong so easily, especially if you have a nervy, wiggly dog. It's really hard for a busy vet office to be able to take the time that dog needs, what they would have to charge for that, or how they book that into their day. That's a real challenge for them. And same with a lot of groomers. And a lot of people are learning and don't know just how sensitive the nerve inside that nail is. They'll feel pain before you see blood. I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions people have is you can quick a dog and not see blood, and that dog 100% still felt pain. And that's where I think a lot of the breakdown happens with people is I don't know why they have a problem. Like I've never quicked them, quote unquote, but just because you didn't see blood doesn't mean they didn't feel discomfort or pain. And then sometimes each nail trim just becomes the stacked trigger because they have to keep going back for nails every 4 or 6 weeks. So it can become like a real deep-seated issue really quickly. And then you add someone trying to restrain and pin while that's happening. Now we've just created a whole other issue because the dog's super fearful of being held or physically made to do something. So sometimes it can ball up into 4 issues that we have to try to pick away at.
Yep. Am I allowed to ask this? Are you having dogs wanting to bite you for this often?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jill. I see you. You're thinking.
Yes and no. For the most part, we can read them enough that we know if they're going to bite us, and so we just will back off.
Yeah.
So I find that like
To bite
because
and actually bite, two different.
yeah. Yeah, I would say we haven't had someone that like actually wanted to bite because we were doing this, and they didn't actually want to bite. They're just like trying us to tell us no, but
Yeah.
also we back off before that even happens because we can see it in their body language kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So ideally for us, if we've gotten properly snapped at, I'd say the true aggression cases are pretty minimal. Like we had a Shih Tzu came in recently that had severe human aggression. It was outrageous, and it was just the way the dog. It lived with a couple elderly people. It learned biting was effective, and it was biting its parent. It was, and we did all the things, and there was an element to this dog. He was a little jerk. And this was a case where he needed to be told what's up. There's going to be some hard boundaries here. This is not acceptable behavior. But I'd say that's 5-10% of the dogs we work with. Most of these dogs have just felt previously like they've tried to communicate, it hasn't been listened to. So they're quicker to jump to extreme measures of communication because in the past, the subtler things they've tried to do have been ignored. So a huge part of like why we broke this up into 4 week program is that so we have the ability to push in small enough increments that we aren't getting those reactions from dogs because we are looking to build up trust that has been broken somewhere along the way, despite people's best efforts, whether it's the parent, a groomer, a vet tech, whoever. Trust has been lost, and we are people's often last chance or last hope. And so we have to super focus on building trust and confidence. And if we're pushing them past the limit where we're not heeding, like Kayla said, she's like an expert body language reader. She is the person who keeps me safe. Like usually I'm doing the trimming and she's watching eyes, she's watching facial expressions, she's watching all these little micro expressions to make sure that when I'm focusing on the nail to make sure
Yeah.
I'm not hitting a nerve,
Yeah.
I have 100% trust in her that she's got her end of things covered because my face is usually six
Right
inches
there.
from right there. So that's a lot of it is Kayla really communicating with me and being like, okay, I think we need to pause because if on session 1 or 2 we've been snapped at, we've likely missed a lot of cues and communications. I think that's what Kayla was trying to say. So
Yeah.
the dog may want to bite, but we almost never put them in a position of actually going through with it.
You said one thing, you get very few jerks that just want to bite. It's more dogs that have been misunderstood, more weirdos, that kind of thing. And I think it's the naming of your business and kind of the reputation you've built because you're the calm dog studio. I'm the naughty dog. I get all the assholes. So I do get the weirdos too, but I think because I labeled my business the naughty dog, I get the bad ones. And I think you get the ones more that need help because of
Yes.
the dogs that I know that go to you, they are more dogs that need understanding, quiet, calm, patience, just some time.
Mhm.
I don't know any badasses that go your way. Very smart business name. You were clever on that one. Who came up with the business name?
I think it was a pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
We wanted something that felt like it represented who we wanted to be and not something that was really kitschy or overdone.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember which one of us did, but I remember toiling over business names for a long
Yeah,
time.
we sat at a couple nights just throwing names back and forth until one of them stuck.
Good for
She'd
you.
say something, I'm like, that's awful, I hate that. And then I'd say something, and she's, that's terrible, we're not using that.
Now, how long have you both been grooming dogs?
Like 18
18 years,
years.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're both the same.
Yeah. In
Okay.
2000, I started in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you both learn from?
I went to a grooming school in Ontario. I think it was called Beautiful Beasts.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are still up and running.
Like a
Um,
6-week school? What?
yeah, I was there for 2 months. Yeah,
Okay.
so six
Yep.
weeks. Yeah,
What about you,
yeah.
Kelsey?
I hate
Self-taught?
this. I hate this question because
I can tell
my
you're
niece,
looking away and
niece,
avoiding eye
I'm like,
contact.
I actually learned at a PetSmart,
Okay.
which is a cringy thing to say, but at the time I went to school, they actually had a pretty good program. It was a 3 month long program. One was like you go to you travel to the teaching store and you work there for a month under like constant teaching. Then you go back to your home store and you work for 2 months under like your store manager. And I did that for 2 years until I
Good for
decided
you.
I think somebody else offered me another job, and corporate land was not for me, that's for sure.
Cool. So you came out of it debt-free, did you?
Yeah.
Unlike you.
How much did your course cost?
What was that?
I don't know. I think it was like 7 grand.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah, wasn't too bad, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What's my next question for you both? Did I see you teaching like a group class of teaching grooming to people, pet people?
Yeah, this is a newer project for us. We have created a course to teach people to groom their own dogs.
I love it.
So it's not for groomers. It's not for multiple styles. It's not if you want to become a groomer. It's just if you're looking to be able to take over the care for your own dog, we will give you all the tools and skills and everything you need to do that. So that's a newer venture over the last year that we have launched.
Even just for people to learn out how to groom their giant doodle in between groomings, because no one knows how.
Yeah.
So
that is so needed. So needed. Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks. It's been fun. Kayla's a great teacher. She's definitely the one who pushed us in a teaching direction. And it's really neat to just empower people to, especially in a grooming climate where there's not a lot of young, up and coming, hungry groomers who are available and will give you a real fast, real expensive haircut that the dog may never recover from. But there's not a lot of really good, sound, capable groomers available. That's just the groomers who are out there. COVID did a number to the dog population, and it's hard. I think it's hard for people to find a groomer that works for them, and so this kind of gives people the ability to take that power back themselves and not have to worry about that.
With the course, how in demand is it?
We do one every couple months.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would say since some of the stuff going on, like just politically, like with the in between Canada and the States right now, I'd say people are becoming a little more hesitant to spend the money.
Yeah.
But we're working on getting an online only version for people who maybe just don't have the finances to buy the whole set of tools and do the whole in-person in studio thing. So we're trying to make this accessible to as many people as possible.
For
But
me,
so
my
far,
thoughts with this is this could be one of your biggest sellers, because I have many people who want to groom their own dogs but don't know how, and then they get butcher cuts.
yeah.
Or their dogs are too difficult for other people to manage, so they need to be able to do it themselves.
Send them our way.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
I think that's it. There's a big need to teach people how to do it properly. I think that's a fantastic, even like your giant doodles. So if you groomers want to do them. So with the big doodles, it's impossible for some people to find a groomer to take them on.
And if you have a big doodle, like this course will pay itself in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Any other unique stuff you're offering that I don't know about?
We do have chickens, and we do distress that. We like take the dogs out for them to chase
There
them
are
and like de-stress. There are therapy chickens.
I love it. Are there any dead chickens?
In 4 years, we've been through 5. So they live very well. They're just maybe not very long. But no, the dogs don't eat the chickens, but they very much get to enjoy chasing them and feeling that big sense of powerfulness when they have done something scary. So we will let the dogs harass the chickens a little.
Yeah.
If it'll help us get where we need to go.
I think there's something very real about having animals like that around dogs, that dogs just learn to chill and be dogs. Because I have chickens here, ducks here, sheep, and my client dogs are super with it. There have been 1 or 2 fatalities, but surprisingly little given how many bad dogs come through here. Like
The fatalities we've had have never been client related. We had a little whoopsie neighbor incident once, but no client dogs have ever put mouths on chickens.
I did once have a client dog do it, and the owner was so mortified that I couldn't even tell her. I think she would have given her dog away and not taken him home. Oh dear.
The other thing I would say that feels like it's a bit on the horizon that I am interested in and would love to get there is we've had some interest from both vets and other groomers about being able to learn what we're doing and just trying to be able to share some of what we have learned and what we're doing and what works because we are getting more and more and more and more vet referrals. And I think there's a good handful of groomers out there. It's not for everybody. Some people just want to groom dogs, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with
Yep.
that. Like the expectation of what we do is an unfair one to put on your groomer. And I think that's something else I think is important for us to say is we get a lot of comments on our social media. I wish more groomers did this, and it's okay. We also have been gifted with this amazing fully fenced property and a studio on our own space and the ability, like the training background, the rescue background, like we have a lot of things that most people don't have access to.
Yes.
And not a lot of groomers even care to do this kind of thing. This is a
Yep.
very niche thing that we've spent a lot of our own downtime understanding dog psychology, dog training, working with rescue dogs. That's our passion, and we combine the things. And I think one of the things that I feel a bit cringy about is when I see people calling out other groomers or saying other people should do this. And I'm sure more would if they could, but let's also be realistic with what we're asking for.
I'm going to call you out. Kelsey is the woman that was involved with Leppy. Leppy, my crazy Mexican rescue. Kelsey was one of the people who picked up the pieces when he got dumped in Victoria. And how long were you involved with Leppy? So Leppy got brought in by a different rescue agency and then dumped. Pretty much, is that true to say?
I'm not even remembering who it was at this time, but yeah, basically he was brought here.
I remember who, but we don't need to say it.
It was basically a plane ticket back to Mexico or euthanasia because he was just bouncing from situation to situation that was making it worse and worse and worse and worse, and the rescue just threw their hands up.
Yeah.
And I was very much in contact with. I worked with the rescue where he came from in Mexico, so I had a close connection there, and they were very much wanting him to find some kind of support. So I did step in as Leppy's person in Victoria to advocate for him because the person who originally agreed to advocate for him gave up on him.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, she's used to working with weird dogs because she was attached to Mr. Leppy.
Sent you a couple weirdos over the years.
You have. But my favorite was Ben Yoda.
Yeah, he was such a happy ending. A narrow miss, almost missed, but
And
definitely.
almost, yeah.
Yeah.
A dicey almost ending. That was a very fortunate twist of events at the last moment. Okay, off topic, maybe not off topic at all. What are the pros and cons of being self-employed? Because you used to work for an employer, didn't you, Kelsey? What about you, Kayla?
I also worked, I was Kelsey's assistant manager in Langford.
Okay.
And so
Did you both leave at the same time?
I left first because our boss wasn't listening to us and I just couldn't do it. And I came from I'm from Regina, and I came from another shop that just wanted us to produce, 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 didn't care about the dog's feelings, our feelings, like anything at all. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I quit and I'll just do it on my own. And that started during COVID. And I've never looked back since. I will never work for someone again, especially in the grooming industry. And especially if the owners don't know anything about grooming.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are the cons of being self-employed?
Oh, it like never stops.
Of boundaries.
Yeah. I'm like, I could do emails all night, every day. I could book appointments every day, but like, I have a pretty good work life balance being like after 6. Like, if you message me, I'm not going to message you back until the next day. Or if you keep messaging me, you're going to be waiting another week. But for the most part, our clients are like super great with communicating and knowing that like if it's after 6, we're not going to reply kind of thing. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would say Working for someone else there's the benefit of like you just show up and then you leave and that's that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think both of us have been in too many scenarios where you just get taken such advantage of. I don't think there's a groomer who's been doing this more than 5 years who hasn't come across a business owner who saw cash signs
Mhm.
when they think grooming, or they open up a studio packet full of groomers and have crazy expectations. So I just think there's no going back in terms of that, because then you're killing yourself for someone else for nothing. If I'm
Yeah.
going to kill myself, I'd rather do it for myself,
Yes.
for my future, for my business, for my reputation.
Yes.
So this very much, like, both of us don't have kids. This feels like it's my child.
Yeah.
It's on my terms, and it feels good that I'm building a name and a future. And there's moments I think where it feels a little suffocating. If we want to go on vacation, I can't just put in notice and go. I have to make sure everything's dealt with and then play the catch up game. So there's moments where it's really overwhelming and where I find it hard to shut it off. But at the end of the day, we have the most incredible community of clients. You work with somebody who's at the end of their rope with their dog. They cannot provide basic care for their dog.
Mhm.
It is
Yes.
a distressing experience for
Yes.
people. It is very real. If you have a dog, you can just take it and drop it off at the groomer. Like, you don't even know how lucky you are. Like, for
Mhm.
some people, this is really deeply, deeply upsetting. So when you're able to solve these kinds of problems for people, you create the most incredible bond with people, and you have the most grateful ride or die clients who will do
Mhm.
anything for you because they just don't know how to repay you for this gift you've given. So I think, especially
Totally
the
agree.
niche we've fallen into,
Yeah.
my business is, it's the love of my life, and I have a person who is the love of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the best, and I can't ever go back.
Impressive. You feel the same way?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
checking.
And if my boyfriend listens, I still love you the most.
Good cover. Very good.
Quick thinking.
What was the hardest transition going from being an employee to self-employed? Did you know all the stuff you would have to be doing self-employed, like taxes and all that stuff?
Take it away, Kaylin.
Taxes, that's been we've
Accounting and taxes.
yeah, we've
Okay.
had a lot of bad accountants, and I don't know anything for accounting wise. And so we've had a bad share of that, but now that like we're on the up and up, we have a good accountant,
Good.
thank God.
We
But
love
that
you,
would
Matt.
be the most one thing that I would tell people is make sure you have a good accountant and they can explain things to you. Like stupidly explain things to you, because at the end of the day, it's
Because
like,
we are stupid when it comes to
right?
books.
Yeah. So yeah, but now we have an amazing accountant, and like yeah, we love him. He's great.
Good.
He saved
It's
How
us.
just
long
think
did it
having
Mm.
how long did it take you to find the right accountant?
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And was it
we've
three
gone through
years of
two.
crying and
Yeah,
stress?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you work so hard as a small business, like, the government
yeah.
doesn't make it easy on you. And you work
No.
so hard for every penny, and then all of a sudden
They
you get an
take it
email
all and then
and
Yeah.
some.
$13,000 has gone out the window, and you're like,
Hmm.
what? Like,
Uh-huh.
how is this not? It's so funny. I was just thinking, like, there's four corners of the business, and in one corner of it, I'm like, I am the most capable, amazing, miracle working. And then I get on the call with my accountant, and I'm like, I am a nincompoop. Who let me run a business? Like,
Yeah.
I am a child. I need a parent.
Oh,
It's very
I
humbling.
avoid calls from my accountant. I can't deal with it.
I know
It's terrifying.
whenever he
It's
sends an email, I'm
terrifying.
like, ah.
I know. I know. I can't read this now. I cannot deal with this now. I have a
Yeah.
busy day. And then I forget for a week.
Yeah.
It's very stressful.
Yeah.
I am a terrible client for my poor accountant. I don't know why she puts up with me. But I agree with you fully. Like, I know how to train dogs. I have no idea. I do have an idea, but it's avoidance behavior for me. Like, I do not want to deal with it. Like, it's
Yeah.
so beyond
The
me.
most minimal amount that I possibly need to.
Yes.
Yeah, I usually deal with it, so it's not bad. Now that we have our accountant, he's really owned us in, and we're good to go now. But
Nice.
before, I'm just like, I'm just gonna cry for 5 hours. It's fine.
And are you guys good about like things like GST? How often are you paying it?
We pay it like every month. Like we
Your monthly.
stuff comes out automatically and everything. Yeah.
And then with any money that you may owe the government at the end of the year, are you paying at the end of the year or do you pay into it throughout the
We
year?
we pay throughout the year.
That's what I started doing too. It's
Yeah.
my absolute fear of getting like a major bill at the end of the year. It just
Yeah.
deflates all my happy days from the year are suddenly
Right?
gone.
Totally. Yeah. In the
Always
past, we've had
blows. Yeah.
problems with that, and we're like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "I quit. I quit."
It was a couple of years ago. I don't think I made more money, but my taxes went up exponentially, like way up. And it's just such a disheartening feeling. Like
Hmm.
you're so happy. Oh, I've saved some money. And then, boom, it's gone.
It's
It's
gone like
gone.
that. Yeah.
So my rule has always been that every month I put something in that account and I want to put in 25% more than what I'm going to have to pay so
Yeah.
that I get some back at the end of the year because I hate being slammed. It's just so disheartening. And I hate
Totally.
owing the tax man. It's just too stressful.
Yeah.
So
It
Yeah.
is. Disheartening is the best word for it. Is just knowing how
Totally.
hard you've worked and you have that number in your bank account and you're so proud of yourself, and then you
I
just see it
know.
in a blink of an eye, it's gone.
It's
I
gone.
know. It's so sad.
And then
So
if they
then,
don't, yeah, and then if they don't take the money out, then you get charged interest and it's even
mhm,
more. I was like, come on. Nah.
so unfair.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really, but I feel like it's unfair because I'm a shit business person in that
Yeah.
regard. So, on this note, then, what are you both doing? My fear of talking to dog people, and it's something I've been doing for a long, long time. Like, I've been in dogs pretty much my whole adult life. So, I've gotten to watch my mentors age out and then retire with no money. And it's my absolute fear because we
Oh,
get no pension. We're not paying into CPP. So, what are you both doing to prevent yourselves from having to retire in a single wide trailer with a leaky roof? Because that's all of our future if we're not clever. We all have to move to Newfoundland and live in our
100%.
single wide trailer.
Yeah.
That's such a dark future.
But isn't it true? We're all
It's
just
so
one
true.
injury away. So, what are
Yeah.
you
We're doing a
doing?
we're doing a couple things. Actually, Kayla and I were just talking about RSPs and starting to set that kind of thing up for ourselves.
What about your
Um,
tax free savings account?
I have a tax-free savings account and I have RSPs and I used to have a house in Regina, so I have that money with
You're
me.
the smart one.
It doesn't, I don't get rid of it.
she
It's,
is.
yeah.
And
I,
for us in a double wide trailer.
yeah. It's gonna have a slide
Your
out.
your roof won't leak.
Yeah.
Kelsey, what are you doing?
Well, less of that, but we're moving towards that.
Yeah, we're gonna set
Um,
her up with like tax-free savings, RSPs, where they all come out monthly and they just go in an account that she can't touch.
so my whole life been someone who is draining my savings into rescue.
Yeah.
I
And
know,
like
I know.
I don't regret it because I we wouldn't be able to do what we do today if I hadn't spent a decade doing what I did and collecting the information and getting the hands-on experience that I did. But I remember turning 30 and just having a what the fuck moment and being like, when am I going to stop just working to make enough money to travel and rescue dogs? Like I will always only ever be a drop in the bucket in terms of my efforts. And I need to start. I'm 30 now. When you're done in your 20s, it's like you start not just living in the now. So for me, that was also a big reason why I flipped to really wanting to open the business and be successful in business because it felt like I was securing my future more. There is no money in rescue. There is burnout and
There is no
exhaustion,
money
and
in rescue. It takes your money.
Yeah.
it takes your money. And I still get to work with rescue dogs because they're coming into the studio all the time. So it's the best of both worlds. But I think we're both also really starting to look at passive income, like starting to open up our online presence and be able to sell a lot more of like our knowledge
Mhm.
online. I'm not interested in gatekeeping what we're doing. I'm super happy to share it. I just want to do it in a way that is going to secure a future for ourselves as well. So that's something else that we're working towards this year is starting to be able to sell and kind of market what we do online and be able to help people anywhere. You could be in Timbuktu. And if you find our social or our website and you're struggling with XYZ, then click a button. I love the thought of making money in my sleep.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
We're supposed to all be saving 10% of our income right now every month. Are you?
No.
I think I am now, but only because I'm 50 and I'm panicking.
Fair.
No, it's not. It's stupid. I should have been doing it when I was 30.
It does make me feel a little better.
Instead, I was having fun training dogs in Germany, spending it all there.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. Oh, so here's my next question. What's both your most memorable mistake you've done in dogs or in your career? It doesn't just have to be dogs. In your businesses, in your career?
Definitely when I was grooming a Bouvier and the clip comb came off and I like literally gave the dog a coin slot. It was like a 30. So it was literally like a little coin slot literally on top of the head and it had the most perfect haircut. And then I did that so I couldn't charge because I was like, that's terrible.
Just for people who don't know, a 30 blade is like
Oh,
almost a surgical blade. That's
yeah.
what they would prep a surgical site with. So it is like a to the
Naked.
skin
Yeah.
length that should be used underneath a guard comb.
She
Yeah.
So when that
scalped it.
comb, so it
Yeah.
was a perfect square scalping in the middle of this dog's dome.
What did the people say? Thank you for our free groom.
They laughed.
So they laughed. The dog looked like an idiot.
Yeah.
And they were so good natured about it.
That's awesome. Kelsey,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Mine's got to be worse than that.
Yeah, I'm thinking mine aren't funny. That's funny.
My worst ones are generally involved when I haven't listened to my gut about something.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yeah.
I've worked with someone I shouldn't have, or I took a client on I did, or I pushed a dog in a way I didn't think I should. And that usually lands in me being injured or the dog being injured. Probably the time we took on that a guy walked in off the street. We don't take walk-ins. And the dog was in a bad way. The guy was super weird. And he asked if we could do nails. And I went against my better judgment. And we went to do the nails. And the dog ended up just losing it, just blew its anal glands all over the place, shit itself all over the studio, and bit me to shit. And it just was this moment where we're standing there with poo and blood and anal glands and this dog that's stressed half to death from just trying to touch its toes. And we just looked at each other and I was like, why did I do that? Like, we have protocols and appointments and applications to avoid this. And for some reason, I just made this horrible call and suffered the consequences of it.
What I always love about things like this is how much would you have charged him for that drop-in nail cut?
Oh, if it went by fine, it would have been $20-25.
And then how much money did you lose by not being able to work from the bites you sustained?
Oh yeah, that was at least a full day's wage. So yeah, it is just not.
It's no bueno.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No, yeah.
It never, always I get burned.
And then it's always a long time before you don't trust your gut again. Like a long time will lapse, and then eventually at some point something happens and you do it, and you're like, God damn it.
One is not my worst moment, but one that comes to mind for me. It was this lovely young lady and got this dog that she shouldn't have had, just given her skill level, her age, her financial resources. So she got a dog way in over her head. So he came here free for the day. I was going to help her, see what I could do. And he's just a young little puppy. So he runs around being silly and was looking at another dog and ran his shoulder into a rock in the parking lot and then goes home on 3 legs and then needs like full x-rays.
Stop.
So not only did I take the dog for free, but I paid for its x-rays.
Oh, no.
She didn't have the money. She didn't have the money. What are you going to do? Sorry, your puppy's now broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just a puppy being a puppy, not paying attention. And no good deed goes unpunished. It's just the way it goes. We all know that part. So yeah, I hear you. It's always just the way. What advice would you give to yourselves now, 20 years back when you were starting to get into this?
Lift with your knees.
That's exactly it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, dear. Do you have hydraulic tables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have to lift into, the tub or what?
Yeah.
Tub, so we don't do extra large stocks.
Yeah.
Especially me, like I have a real garbage back. So Kayla's been left to do a lot of the physical stuff. Honestly, I think I'd say the same thing is take really good care of your body.
Yeah.
Because it'll get to a point where you're caring for your body because you have to in order to continue. And I think one of my greatest fears, I've been having a lot of, yeah. I just listened to the podcast where you were talking about that finger.
Yeah.
It's just is do everything you can to preserve it, because when you rely on it for your livelihood, it's terrifying to think that it could be taken away from you. And that's something we've been facing the last 6 months. I was in a car accident last year, and it's rocked my world. It's completely changed my ability to do my job, which means things have fallen on Kayla, and that's tasking on her body that's already struggling. So I think the biggest thing is just take such good care of your body, because there's nothing scarier than, just like you said, we're all one accident away from some tragic ending financially. And now I'm thinking about my future and what do I have to do when I know my body's going to give out at an age that's way younger than it should, because I've been overusing.
Yes. So what do you do to take care of your body? I see neither of you drink, unlike me.
I do drink on occasion. Before the injury, right now, I'm just still doing a lot of physio, a lot of rehab.
Yeah.
Before that, I was a pretty avid gym goer, just to keep like my back strong, my core strong, just to try
Smart.
I just wanted to make aging, and that sounds crazy. I'm not super old, but when you have a job as physical as what we do, my body is not as old as I am. It's older.
Yes.
So I've been trying to do a lot of preventative stuff like that. We invested in a little soft-sided hot tub, and we soak a lot in there. We both pay to get massage quite often.
Yeah.
Kayla, you do cupping, acupuncture.
Yeah. Acupuncture, cupping, chiro, physio. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm the same. And I have been for years. I think we have to. We really, really have to.
If I don't get at least massage, then I know that I'm not going to be able to walk in a week or whatever. Like I know when my back starts to get tight, that I'm like, I need to go for a massage, because then I know that I'm like, okay, I'm already stressed. Like I'm holding on to more things than I need to. And so I always go for my massage, and I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. So
Do you have a Theragun?
yeah. Yeah.
Do you use it?
We do, but I don't find it as effective as like a proper deep tissue.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It should be in conjunction with, not instead of.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
The in-between aches and pains.
Yeah.
Theragun is
And
great.
how are both of your hands and wrists?
Terrible.
My hands have, my wrists have been okay, but it's my hands, like the holding and the clipping, my thumbs for sure. Like I've been doing a lot of acupuncture. When I got a massage yesterday, and I got him just to work on like my arms and forearms, and that's really seemed to help to get the blood flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I've done, but they're not great. I can't do some things I can't do in the yard that I should be able to do, but I'm like, oh my God, that hurts my hand. Or I like to paint, but I can't really paint because it just hurts my hand by holding the paintbrush. Yeah.
Which is scary. You're saying that you're 30?
Yeah, 37, yeah.
Not quite 30.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't open a jar of pickles to save my life.
Yeah. Take care of your hands, people.
Take care of your hands.
Yeah.
This is my good hand. Look at
That's your
this
good
finger.
hand.
Look at that finger. Look how messed up that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On X-rays?
That's the good one. And I now have a whole bunch of specialist appointments to work out what's going on with my hands. Yeah. Once again. And I think it's just wear and tear from dogs. And every time I pull Harry out the car, he shakes and nails my fingers. So it's just stuff like that happening every day.
every
Yeah.
day.
It's just a continuous abuse of the hands.
And it's so insidious. It just really happens like slowly over time, and then you also get used to the aches and pains, so you don't even maybe register them how you should be until it's too late.
Yeah. Are you careful with your diets? Not careful, but
I
are you
have
taking stuff to help you with it?
I do a probiotic and like a collagen supplement. I have a lot of dietary issues, so like I
Okay.
have to be pretty careful with my diet. But no, I wouldn't say there's a ton of other than like probiotics and
Omega
vitamins.
3 is what you should be taking.
Oh yeah, I do that
Yeah.
too. I do take omegas as well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm doing okay there. See,
Good.
she's better financially. I'm better with supplements.
It evens out.
I need this win.
She can pay for your supplements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go to my next questions now. If you were to start your careers over again, would you still go for grooming?
Ooh.
If you were to start your careers over again, would it be in dogs?
Yeah. I love dogs.
Yeah.
They just
And
make me happy.
and then would it still be grooming?
Yeah.
If I could do it again, I might try my hand at training.
Yeah. Yeah.
The grooming was always what earned me money to then go and learn how to train and work with rescue dogs and help dogs. And then it wasn't until 4 years ago or 5 years ago that I officially put all that together in a way that like made me love what I do as opposed to it's all my passion now. Where I would say grooming wasn't my passion, and now it is because I've been able to mix it with something that I'm way more passionate about. And we've had this conversation. I'm like your biggest fangirl. I would love to train. I love listening to the training podcast and just the way that dogs work and think. I think that's incredibly
But I
interesting.
think you are. I think you've blended the two perfectly.
Thank you. It feels better. I feel more of that now, but going back in time, I don't know. Maybe I would have enjoyed the 14, 15 years that I did grooming. Maybe I would have enjoyed training more. I don't
True.
know.
True.
I love both, and I just kind of had to pick a lane.
Yep. Would you both, would you ever get into teaching apprentice groomers? Somewhere you would go?
I used to teach when I lived in Regina. I used to work for a place that had a school, and I used to
Okay.
teach like young adults. I would say no, because it's really hard to teach an adult when sometimes they think they know what they're talking about. So I would say probably no, but then again, that being said, because it's in my own space, I could tell them being like, this is what we're doing. And it's like that with our teaching owners to groom their dogs. It's like that, but not as intense of a course as it would be learning how to groom like dogs in general.
Yes. I love the teaching owners to groom their dogs. I think that's brilliant. And I think
Yeah.
once people know about that, I hope that that will become your biggest seller. I
Yeah.
do. I think it's a
I
really needed market.
yeah, I agree. I think it's really needed, especially in Victoria, just because there's so many groomers that just keep burning out or they're quitting and they're moving on. And then there's a dump of clients that don't know where to go. And especially with the big dogs, like there's not a lot of groomers taking on big dogs.
Yeah.
So I think with like the Doodle Academy that we have, I think that's really going to hit it off for sure.
Love it.
It's a lot easier to teach a pet parent to do one type of haircut
Yeah.
and to have the
Yes.
basics, whereas
Yeah.
taking on an apprentice is really like a 3 to 6 month endeavor. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be curious to know how many people actually make money off of teaching like that.
Yeah.
I think you would have to teach in a large capacity because of the time commitment that it takes. I can't be grooming when I'm teaching. So what do
No.
Correct.
I do with the clients? I can no longer serve because I'm teaching and they can only groom 2 dogs a day.
Yeah.
So
Then
I
it's a
think you'd have
whole
to,
different
It's
level of stress.
Yeah, it's hard because when I was teaching people to groom dogs, I still had to groom my 6 dogs a day on top of teaching people how to groom. And some people wouldn't listen, and some people would be doing this and doing that. And it was just like, it was so hard, so hard. In order to have someone go to a grooming school, you need so much dogs coming and going. You have to have other people helping. teaching different things because people learn different. And so it's a very hard niche to teach people, especially with all of the different breeds and everything that you need to know with every single breed that comes with grooming.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite breed to groom?
I like the
Honestly,
pattern dogs. I like a Welsh Terrier, like those, because we don't get
I
them
was
very
thinking
much.
Irish Terrier. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get them very
Yeah.
much. I have two terriers that I do, and I just love doing a cut just because I think they look so cute after, or like a schnauzer cut, because again, that's a pattern cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's yours? Favorite breed?
I don't think what I love to do is like what we would call a contour clip. So that would be a dog that generally grows furnishings, like a golden retriever or a Pomeranian
Mhm.
or a corgi, something where you would be shaping like their bum, shaping their belly, the feathering down the legs, and I do that freehand, like with a little handheld clipper. And so it's just contouring the dog's body and shaping the hair into it.
Yep.
And I love making a really good set of like dog buns, like little butt cheeks.
And what's your least favorite breeds, ladies?
Poms, Aussies.
Oh, why?
17 palm clients. I love palms.
I just don't like because they have so much coat and they're like little babies about it when you're brushing them. I don't know. It's just so overwhelming with hair. And I'm also allergic to dogs.
So am I.
So like grooming a hairy palm, like a hairy Aussie, I'm not into it. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Mhm.
What's your
And
least
like
favorite?
I don't think it's a breed specific thing. It might just be if there's a dog that just struggles or doesn't like it. Like tiny dogs. I think really tiny dogs are honestly some of the hardest to
puppies.
groom. And puppies, yeah, we don't do puppies. Because they have these little bodies that are smaller than your clippers and they're struggling and you get it, but I can't do this any other way, and even my gentlest attempt is not good enough, and so it becomes there are some dogs that they'll never have a good time when I know we're going to spend the next hour and a half struggle. Like if they're struggling, I'm struggling. There is no everything that's happening to you is happening to me and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I find that's my least favorite. It's just when I know I have a client that really struggles, I don't like watching a dog struggle and know that I'm putting them through that, even though I know it's a necessity. I'd say for me, it's when I'm fighting with a dog and the dog is having a bad time. I feel bad.
I'll say my least favorite. Wheatons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they can be tough too. We have one Wheaton, Old
We have
Benson.
one Wheaton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
We have
assuming
a
he's
lot of
nice if he's still yours.
He's tough to do, but he's a nice old guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wheaton's are a lot of dog.
Yeah.
That's an intense. And doodles, hey, like we love you guys. We love doodles, but there are a lot of crackhead doodles out there, and that is
A
a
lot of
tough.
them are really weird, but that's my niche. I love the weirdos. I really quite love the doodles. But I think doodles are not what people are expecting when they sign up for their fluffy, expensive dog.
This is like our clients are so great. Everybody's on repeat schedule, and if they have doodles, they're very well aware of the grooming. But pre-calm dog and just having to do like off the street like clients,
Yeah.
there are a lot of doodle owners who do not understand what they're asking for, do not understand their responsibility, do not understand the dog in front of them. And I think that's what sets doodles up to be a frustrating thing for groomers is that little combination of things. It's not even the dog itself, it's how ill prepared the owner is for this dog. And then that becomes the nightmare of, I want him fluffy, but he hasn't been touched with a brush in 8 months. But that's not our clients anymore. Our clients are all wonderful.
Did you used to get dogs like that the hair's coming off like a sheep pelt?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
terrible.
No, we do that once, and if it happens again, you're fired. There has to be a consequence because people will continue to do that.
Uh-huh.
Extended circumstances, someone's ill, whatever. Like I can have compassion, but if you're consistently bringing a matted dog, I'm not into it. Like I'm going to provide the only consequence I know how, which is that you can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you charge more if a dog's coming in terrible condition?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I have a funny story. I'll leave her name out of it. But we were in Port Alice, and there was a dog whose toenails needed cutting. So we offered, come on over. We're at the RV park. We'll help you with your dog's nails. So this dog's old, seriously old. So we cut its eagle talon shorter. And then my friend had to run off for a haircut. But as we're doing this dog, like there were fleas. And they weren't just jumping off the dog. They were jumping off the guy too. So my poor friend runs to go get her haircut. And she sends me a photo of herself with her new haircut. So I zoomed in on it, and she had a flea in the middle of her forehead, like just to the base of her hair. So her hairdresser's cutting her hair and is like, and she's like, what? Do I have a flea? She's like, yeah, you do.
I hate to say that's happened to me.
Yeah. I've been laying on the couch the one time and had a flea jump off my forehead, and I was like, clean the
Because
whole
we did
house
a
top to
really
bottom. Yeah.
because we did shaved a really matted flea-ridden dog, and like sometime later on in the day, you'll like it's happened, and it's deeply upsetting.
Yeah.
Oh, awful. Just awful. Oh, dear. Anything else we want to talk about, ladies? This has been very fun. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been amazing.
What tips do you give your clients with their coated breeds? Any words of wisdom, or to your non-clients?
Buy a dryer, a high velocity dryer. They're $100. They go a long way.
And for what
Double
purpose?
coated. If you have
Like
a
for a
double coated dog.
a double coated dog.
Yeah.
Get them used to brushing. Get like the proper tools. Do
Yes.
research for your tools.
And I think it's just giving people like parameters to work within. Like realistically,
Yeah.
how often do you want to be here? How much do you want to spend on your dog? Do you have the right tools? Because we have people who come in and they're brushing their dog every day, but they're basically using the brush equivalent of a spatula.
Yeah.
So they're putting in the effort, not getting the results. So we also like will sell our clients our professional grade tools just to make sure that they have the right thing. I think the biggest thing is just really communicating with people and saying, you don't want to be here every 6 weeks. You don't want to do a lot of maintenance at home. You have a super active lifestyle. These are your options. I think groomers are getting better at not just saying yes to the client. It's by saying, this is what's best for the dog, and this is how I want to have a relationship with your dog every however long for 2 hours, an appointment, and just setting that parameter. And I think if more people did that, we wouldn't have the dogs that are in really bad way or bad shape. Be the professional. Like that's your job. Like you should feel confident, and hopefully you work in an environment where your boss will let you do this, but you are the one who is telling the client what needs to happen. You are the professional. Get out there, say it with your chest, and I think that is something I would love to see more groomers do, is have more confidence to tell people what's up and advocate for their dog if someone's just not getting it.
Yep. Love it. Any final thoughts?
I'm probably going to lie in bed and have 50 later, but
Well.
This has been really fun. We love what we do. Figuring this out has been the hardest challenge of our lives, and even just trying to run a business together and prioritize like having a healthy relationship with each other as business partners. But we love this. We've loved serving our community. We're super grateful. We've gotten just so much positive feedback from people. It's amazing. It's such a good feeling.
Thank you so much, ladies, for talking with me. This was super fun. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right. Enjoy what remains of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.